Okay, welcome everybody. I want to talk about today about the idea of Web 0.20 and the way how it maps into everything we do in this building, Design 0.20 architecture, public realm 0.20. And we all may not all know what is Web 0.20, but we all participate. Facebook, all the interactive things that happen in web are part of what we do. And I'm just sorry. And if you look at what is Web 2.0, you can kind of qualify this with a number of attributes. We can talk about interactivity, crowdsourcing, context-specific functionalities, and very quickly we start noticing that there are similar things with architecture, private, public, participation, collective memory, Alderossi, and a number of other categories. And next step, we can start pairing those together. We can see that ubiquity and public has something to do, as well as collective memories. We can talk about location, context-specific functionalities. We can talk interactivity and participation. And very quickly, we see that attributes of both realms, web and the public realm we design, share the same qualities. And one of the qualities is the interface, and maybe I go back here, interface and in here, and the media and design as a kind of unifying component shared by both all those categories. And just to give you some old examples that reinforce the point to show you that architecture is a form of interface, the way we interact, as well as it's a form of media that communicates things and in many cases miscommunicates as well. So can be honest and dishonest. And the city and public realm is a pure open source place to speech. We see Banksy, very famous British artist. We see political speech in other parts of the world, as well as the very old graffiti coming from Pompeii pre-eruption, where again it serves the form of traditional block. Now in kind of introduction digital media, we transform the built realm and overlay another layer of interactivity and digital components. This could be a D-Tower, a very famous piece where people vote and combine their emotional feelings, and they are being displayed interactively in a center of the square to show this kind of mental state of the society. You can have all interactive presentations when people through the web can program media facades. You also have a number of sustainable initiatives, artistic presentations, projections where you actually project lasers on the clouds, and the amount of emissions from the power plants signify amount of our carbon footprint. And this kind of goes all the way to the culture of hacking and kind of guerrilla use of the city. You have digital graffiti, we have all the different unorthodox ways we kind of engage media and design. And what is interesting that the next step, so far what I showed you is kind of WYSIWYG scenario that what you see is what you get. The next step where we are going with this kind of Web 0.20 and combination of mobile devices is direction towards augmented reality, where you have a new reality that is perceived through the mobile devices, in this case a tablet or a phone. And in this, and you start being, again, like in a city, everything is location-based, context-based. You start having your own individual identity and connection. And a couple of examples of location-based services we all use is Foursquare's augmented reality. This is one of the classes I'm teaching presently in this semester. We look at number of information overlays over the existing video feeds, and in connection with digital compass, accelerometer, and GPS receiver, you can actually position actual data harvested from the web or databases over the actual image, and you can combine either as a media displays. And this feeds to the whole expanded way of participating when you have social networking, Facebook becoming truly kind of interactive and on-demand network, when you get triggers, reminders that your friends are within 1,000 feet from you, having a beer in this bar, and the whole kind of idea of very different mapping and functioning within society. And this can be much simpler as just going around the store and checking the Groupons, the different sites that harvest, let's say, coupon sites and provide you with the deals and options that happen. Or if you want to get hacked into a free Wi-Fi, it displays all the Wi-Fis in your neighborhood and provides level of an encryption if they're encrypted or open Wi-Fis. But more interestingly is that we are going away from just consumption towards participation, and there's a whole movement of games where are location-based, people interact, people who don't know each other, and one of the nice, I guess, bumper sticker for those genre of activities is going beyond who you know. They bring a new way of interacting. Socially, we interact with people we know. If you walk on a corridor and meet people you know, you'll talk to them, not strangers. In those environments, in those augmented game worlds, you actually have reversed this behavior. People start collaborating with people they don't know. They build trust differently, and it's not based on a kind of presumptive or history with people. Again, one of the initiatives from here, it's from New York. It actually happened third time this summer, where people actually go and play with augmented reality with strangers, and there's a number of designs. The other things that are also very exciting that people start doing also authorship. They start drawing, leaving graffiti, and start existing in a purely augmented reality environment. And this is one of the apps that actually deals with this. But also people leave marks. There are people who are just doing painting and art with augmented reality. It's location-based, so you only can access where you are on location, which actually makes more sense. If you go to Guggenheim 2 years ago for a Frank Lloyd Wright exhibition, it's a little bit unusual to bring a model of the building into another building that is 1,000 miles away from Chicago versus doing information data art that is location-specific and relevant to a particular people. It's a very much more, I think, interesting and engaging approach. And what is interesting that even though those directions may feel like you're going very much virtual and digital, they're very often folding into reality. There's actually a Reuters feed from San Francisco where actually city of I think Oakland or San Francisco are trying to encourage digital graffiti and did a number of different workshops to kind of move what some people see pathology into a virtual world. So a couple of things, these are my ideas, what I work with here and think about. It's one of the topics. Now, I also do a bit of practice, and one of the projects we are working on is the revitalization of the abandoned subway system on the Tremont Street from the Boston station in Boston, those who know, going all the way to the Turnpike. And this is a tunnel that's no longer used, and it is actually the first subway system in US, third in the world. So it's a significant piece of architecture and history of infrastructure. And we started working on this as a result of the competition we won on this subject 2 years ago. And we kind of very quickly start thinking, how do you reuse the infrastructure that's not visible for everybody? How do you reconnect this with some meaningful new ways of thinking? And having my interest, we very quickly start talking about the digital component to this, both as a media part, but also how you communicate the design, what exists underground with the rest of the city, how you reconnect these elements. So we start designing kind of media spaces. But also what we very quickly realized that since this is a public project and involves a lot of constituency politics and the city, what we realized we have to build project awareness and build constituency. And having a social media is very helpful, but also developing the augmented reality projects that exist before it's built, but also using a game engine, what we are working right now, so people can actually visit the gallery and actually interact, hopefully, with the gallery and work with this before you actually build as a kind of step for virtualization before realization. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Well, I thought that was absolutely fabulous. And I really appreciate you're all doing this. And I feel very proud to have you as colleagues. It's been a remarkable thing. But at the same time, I feel unbelievably frustrated. I feel frustrated because you're just giving us a little taste, and then, you know, once we're fully teased, you vanish. So I hope this is the beginning of many fruitful conversations. I think it is very important for all of us to know what you are thinking about and what you're working on. And I hope we can have more of these interchanges. So I think this has been a wonderful experience for me. I don't know about the rest of you, but I thought it was just outstanding. So I would like to give a round of applause for our speakers. And why don't you, right, come on.